is Monday, March 3rd, and I'm Deb. This is Designing with Deb here at artbeads.com, and I'm so excited to be with you this morning. Hello, Michelle. Show today, and I might have a fun announcement at the end of the show today, so I'm enticing you to stick around. If you're watching live on March 3rd, you may know, or you'll need to go check out, there is a Spring into Spring sale going on here at artbeads.com, and it's all about Czech Glass. 25% off Czech Glass. So when you go to artbeads.com, they have a banner across the top of the website. And if you click on that banner, you will see all of the Czech Glass that is available by category. So there's all the beautiful 2-hole beads and fire polish beads and flowers and leaves if you need to stock up on those for your spring and summer designs. So don't miss this sale. It is on through Thursday, end of Thursday. So we might be talking about some Czech Glass today. We might be doing a little bit of that. Let's see who's here. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Kara. Hi, Kat. Hello, Hazel. Hello, Denise H. Oh my gosh, so good to see you guys. Hi, Abby. So what did everybody do this weekend? Because I had a fun weekend. I didn't do a ton of creating, but I saw some live music. I did a little work on cleaning out my closet. So tell me what you did. Did you create? Did you go out and do some fun things? Tell me, I must know. Hello, Ruby C. She is here from Louisiana. Thank you guys for being here. So as I said, it is March 3rd, and I have something special to share at the end of this show. So I'm hoping that you all will hang around to hear what I have to tell you because I'm so excited about it. Oh, Kat says she was knitting her new gnome. Oh, that sounds intriguing, Kat. I'm assuming it's a little gnome, critter of some sort. Sharon says, good morning from Arizona. It's beautiful out. Yes, Sharon, I know the weather has been amazing. We're a little on the cooler side today, but I'm good with that. Yeah, I had a great weekend. It sounds like we've got a few folks that had a good weekend and enjoyed what they were doing out there. So guys, as I said, we have a Czech Glass sale going on. So I've got some Czech beads to share with you. And we also have a deal of the day. So we've been doing some deals of the day again to share some great deals with you. And the deal of the day today is amazing. So I'm going to be incorporating that into what we do. And last week on my personal shopper show, I shared that I was going to be testing out a tool. I shared a tool and I'm going to be testing it out this week. So maybe some of you got this home. Maybe you got the multipliers from Beadalon home. I'm going to try this. So we're going to do a little playing around with this tool today, and I'm going to compare it to some other tools. So good morning, BJ. Good morning, Rachel from Brunswick, Canada. Hello. So we're going to do a little bit of comparison, and we're going to be doing some beaded chain. So when you guys think about beaded chain, you think about beads that have been wire wrapped meticulously, and you think to yourself, well, I don't know if I want to do that. It's a lot of work. I find it very relaxing, and I think it's fun. And sometimes you can't find the beaded chain that you like. And sometimes you imagine beaded chain that doesn't exist, and you can make it yourself. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and we're going to take a look at my table and what I've been doing. Hello, Laura. All right. So this is what I've got on my table today. And here is my multiplier. I've got some cutters, but this is what I played around with last week, getting ready for the show. This is beaded chain. Now, you may think, oh, it's just a necklace. Well, it is, but it is all made into chain from beads. So this is not strung onto beading wire. This is beaded chain. So you can do this. And maybe many of you do this. Maybe many of you have experience with this. Maybe you haven't thought about beading up some of these kinds of beads. So I thought we would talk about it, and we would also do some comparison with the different types of beads and different types of tools that you can do to make it. So all I did was use, first of all, these amazing beads. These are pressed coins, and they are dragonflies, and they're a turquoise color with a copper wash on those little dragonflies. Now, dragonflies are very symbolic of things. A lot of people believe that if they're visited by dragonflies, that they might be visited by someone that is no longer walking on this earth. So if you believe that, or if you don't, dragonflies are a great symbol of summer and spring, and just they're such a cool critter out there in the world. So these beads, these coin beads, are absolutely beautiful. They are 18 millimeter, and what I did was I wire wrapped them with some of our sparkle mystery bead mixes. Now, this one is not the deal of the day. This size is not the deal of the day. It is the, I believe these are 6 millimeter size, and I can show you what these look like in my hand. I pulled out some of the like fuchsia colored ones, and I mixed them with the dragonfly beads. And they are absolutely gorgeous. And I used copper wire. I tried to pull out the copper in the dragonflies and bring that copper forward. And I think they just look so pretty. The copper looks so pretty, kind of surrounding the turquoise and surrounding that fuchsia color. So lovely. And I used the Art Beads designer wire. I believe this is in limited stock. So if you want some of this today, you'll need to pop that into your cart and make sure you close it out at the end of the show. This is 22 gauge, and it's tarnish resistant copper. Great for what we're going to be doing and making beaded chain. So this is fantastic. I love the Art Beads designer wire. It's great to work with. So I'm going to set these off to the side for just a minute and my tools and show you some alternates to this bead. So if you like the dragonfly, but you don't necessarily like the copper, there is a gold wash in the same pressed coin, same 18 millimeter, same turquoise color, but you've got this gold. So maybe you're a gold girl, or if you like, you can combine these. So look at how nicely they look together. So if I was to incorporate these into my design, I could do every other bead, something like that, and match them up to the copper. This is such a lovely color of turquoise. Turquoise is always a popular color, and I think it goes with so many things. I love the gold wash of these dragonflies. So that's an alternate to this bead here. Then, sorry for all the plastic sound. Then we've got a different turquoise. Now these are table cut. So when you have pressed glass, they are pressed into a shape. The table cuts are actually like sliced so that they get that really extreme sharp flatness that comes across the top of the bead. These are also flat, but they're a little more curvy. And these have a Picasso edge. So if you want this design, but want things a little bit more rustic, this is perfection. So the little dragonflies are also Picasso finish. so you can get a more rustic look to your design. So look at the difference here. So we've got a rounded edge and rounded here, but a sharper cut across the top. Hi, PJ. Hi, Julie. So, you know, a little bit different, but some people are very particular about what kind of bead style, what kind of finish. And with this sale going on, maybe you want to try a few different ones and use them for different styles of jewelry. So maybe this becomes part of a macrame bracelet, maybe not beaded chain, and you could use some earthy tones to go along with these beautiful Picasso finish table cut coins. And it's that same beautiful turquoise color, absolutely beautiful. Table cut is so, I don't know, it's got just a little something extra special. And the Picasso is just that kind of rustic, cool vibe and just adds a little bit of difference to your design. Okay, so what if you don't like turquoise? And I know most of you probably do. What if you want a purple? Oh my gosh, this is a lilac purple. Pressed coin Dragonfly, same design. And this has, I believe this is also the copper. And again, you could put these together. So make a really colorful beaded chain with amazing pressed glass dragonflies in different colors. Oh, yes. Unindicated purple. Yes. I love this color purple. It is so spring and summer. It makes my heart sing. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. So this is such a beautiful option. If the turquoise is not your jam, this is an amazing, amazing dragonfly bead in a lovely lilac purple. Okay, before we do some beaded chain work, I thought I'd show you just a few more Czech things to work with. This is a little harder to make beaded chain with, but darn, these are so cool. These are Czech Glass 12 by 11 black opaque beads, and they've got an etched antique finish on them. They're teardrops. And look at how cool these are. These, actually the camera is not really doing these the justice. They almost look like meteorites. Like if you've ever seen like meteorite beads, these look like that. And you can do earrings with these. You can put these onto a necklace. You can do just about anything with these. But chain might be challenging, but I'd love to see someone make these into chain when they get these home, because these are so incredibly cool. The finish, you can almost feel like that etching on them. Super, super cool. Michelle, yeah, they're kind of like pebbles, but they have more of like a spacey vibe to me. So space pebbles, how about that? So those are cool. Those are on sale. Don't miss out on those. And this is such a cool bead. I am crazy about these. This is a 13 by 12 millimeter red opaline with antique gold, and it's kind of a twisted teardrop, and they are so awesome. It's like somebody dripped gold onto these, just kind of walked by and dripped gold onto your beads. A bright red always works any time of the year, whether it's holiday or Valentine's or incorporated in with a different color. So even with a purple, look at the cool contrast of those colors. Just a really cool vibe. Nice, big, bright pop of red. These are gorgeous beads, amazing Czech quality. You don't want to miss out on some of these great deals that we're having. When you get these home, you're going to say, hey, who dripped all the gold on my beads? And they look great with lots of gold wire and that kind of thing. All right, here's another cool bead. This is a little smaller, not so chunky like the ones I've been showing, but this is a Czech fire polish. It's 4mm and it's a fuchsia polyphore. And it's just like this kind of two-tone, sparkly, I don't know what all. Every bead kind of looks a little bit different. And I love these with the beads that we're going to be working with to make some chain in a bit. So this would be a great option for working with our chain. So I'm going to throw that up here. Those are also on sale. Fire polish is beloved. So you don't want to miss the fire polish options that are in the sale. Also, this is a really cool bead. This is 11 by 10mm royal blue silk and crystal. It's like a two-tone bead. And look at the ribbing on these. I had not seen these before. And when I got these in my hands, I went crazy. So everybody loves blue. It's still one of the world's most favorite colors. And I love that ribbing detail on these. It's kind of a gold wash on the ribbing. So there's so many things you can do with these, and they're chonky. So they are a really cool chonky bead. When you get these in your hands, you're going to do the same thing I did. Like, wow, look at all the detail on these. And that bright blue is just so incredibly cool. So that's a cool Czech bead. And then just one more round of things before we make. I have buttons and I have Czech buttons. These are incredible buttons. This is a 32mm round sunflower. Look at the colors and the detail in this Czech button. This can be a closure for your beaded chain. It can be a closure on an amazing bracelet as a focal. It can be just strung onto a necklace or a bracelet, or you could truly use it as a button. It is a shank button. This is high quality, high beauty, high detail and design. Unindicated, yes. And Laura Q, sunflowers are always in style. Everybody loves a sunflower. This is gorgeous. Lots of beautiful colors. There's reds and purples and golds. It is really beautiful. Kara, I agree. They are gorgeous. So let me show you a few more really quickly. This one, oh my gosh. So this is gonna like cause the sun to refract because it is amazing. This is 36mm star flower and it's a golden orange. And if you're picking up all of the flowers for your spring and summer designs, drop this one into your cart. It is gorgeous. It is a silver on the back. There's that shank. And thank you for the hearts, you guys. These are fabulous buttons and they are on sale. So don't miss out on the Czech Glass. Really gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful buttons. Even if you just want to get them and hold them and look at them, they're beautiful. Here's a small one, and this one makes my heart sing. This is a 17mm round moon face. It's ivory white with a gold wash. Look at his cute little face. I'm in love with him. He's got a metal shank, but he would be so cute on a bracelet. Look at the size. So he is a great bracelet focal size. You can just string that onto stringing wire and you've got a fun button. You could use it for a closure. He is adorable. Don't miss this one. He is just so cute. I just love him. All right, two more buttons. This one for my blue ladies. This is also a sunflower in blue. OMG. So we looked at these blue beads. They might work with this. They're kind of a different color blue, but when you move the button, you do see different shades of blue coming across in the petals. So you could pair that with, pair those beads with this button. This has a silver back. There's your shank. Oh my gosh, it is. Laura Q says royal. Yes. This is such a gorgeous, it's like a little work of art. And when you open up the package of these, your eyes just pop because they are incredible beads, or buttons, I should say. That one I love. And then last but not least, this, we looked at all those turquoise beads. What if you matched it up with a turquoise blue button? And this is also a sunflower. Oh my gosh. This one is just stunning. So this has got like blues and greens and yellows, and it's got a turquoise back. So it's really showing turquoise. So here's our beaded chain. We could use this as a closure for beaded chain. So good. Yeah. The turquoise, dragonflies look so good. Let me find one of the other turquoise. Here's the gold wash with this. Ooh, this is my favorite. Get this combination. Oh my gosh, this would be so beautiful together. Woo. Yowza, yowza, yowza. Julie says, yikes. This is gorgeous. This is a stunning combo. And I had that other Picasso. So if you want to go rustic and romantic, look at the combination of the Picasso finish and this button. Oh my goodness. This is my favorite though. The table, the pressed dragonfly with the gold wash is just perfection with this button. So this would make an amazing design. Make some beaded chain, use this as your closure or a focal. And hanging it as a focal, you could do a bunch of different things. You could drop a little, I like to use earring backs for either side of this on a head pin. So you could do that. You could also do a nice wire wrap in here and maybe a head pin with a wire wrap on the other side. You could do wire wrapping on either side of it. And if you use the right kinds of beads, small beads, seed beads, you can have that just sitting on either side. And when you wear it as a focal, it will lay flat. So there's lots of different ways you can use that button as a focal. And I see Michelle suggesting bead embroidery. Yes, that's how a lot of these buttons are used, for bead embroidery. Absolutely spectacular. Okay, I've shown you lots of fun beads and I've shown you some chain. I think we should make some beaded chain. So I'm gonna use this again. I've actually got some other wire in the show today as well. I've got some silver and I've got some gold artistic wire as well. And I like anywhere from 22, I kind of can go down to a 26, up to a 20, or down to a 24. I like 22 the best for doing beaded chain, but you can go smaller, especially if you're going with smaller beads. So I'm just going to start off by pulling out some chain or some wire. And I'm actually going to get my bead mat so that you can maybe see this a little bit better. I'm going to move this over so we've kind of got that in our sight. And I'm going to start off by using the multipliers. So I told you I wanted to test these out. I did practice just a little bit, but only enough to make this much chain. So I'm still a novice at working with this tool, but I'm also going to incorporate some of our deal of the day sparkle mystery bead mixes. I can never get that right. Look at these beautiful Czech crystal beads. So we're going to use these and a strand of these amazing beads that are pressed glass. These are Czech Glass 19 millimeter lotus flowers in matte pink silk. And they have some transparency and some opaque. and they have that gold wash lotus. Lotus flowers are also a very symbolic, symbolic flower, and they are beloved. So using lotus flowers in your jewelry designs is a great call because people will love them. So what I want to do here is I'm going to use these guys, and I think I want to use a contrasting color. And I want to use a color that I think you guys will be able to see. So let me take a look at what I've got in my blend here. So I might like these bright yellows. So maybe that's not, you can't see it against the matte, but you will be able to see these as I work with them. So I'm going to pull out some of these bright yellow little bicones. And these, remember, are the deal of the day. They are a 5mm bicone. So a nice size, nice to work with. Beautiful, beautiful glass beads. I am crazy about these. They're super high quality, really nice. Okay, I'm going to start with working with this tool. It is a round nose and a chain nose, all in one tool. Now, the draw for this tool is that it is an efficiency play. So if you are working on a big project like this, a big beaded chain piece, you might find that you're picking up and putting down lots of tools throughout the course of making. And that is true. This will save you at least one pickup because you've got two tools in one. Now there is a multiplier that also includes a cutter. That felt overwhelming for me, but I did put it in the show. I think there was maybe a couple left out there. I see it's on the screen. You could check that out. Maybe I'll try that another time once I've mastered this. So we're also going to need some cutters here for what we're doing. Now, I like to do this. It's very relaxing to me, and I want to make sure that I show you in a way that maybe makes sense to you, but I do my wire wrap loops a little bit weirdly. So you might not like the way that I do them, but I'll show you how I do it. So I've got some wire up above my pliers. I've got it down, just a little bit down on the plier. Depending on how you want your loops, you can put them wherever you want. If you want your loop to be smaller, you'll go closer to the tip. If you want your loops to be larger, you'll go further down onto the barrel of that plier. So I'm going to bend my wire down, and then I'm going to bend it back over the plier, and that's kind of where the weirdness comes in. And then I'm going to adjust my pliers a little bit and pull that smaller piece of wire around. And then I'm just going to do a couple of wraps. And showing this on screen is so hard to do, so I may have to adjust a little bit. There we go. And just gonna do a couple of wraps like that. Oh, thank you, Maggie. That makes my heart sing. Thank you so much. So I've got a couple of wraps, and that's what my loop looks like. Now I do have to put my pliers down to cut off my excess. So that is one thing that maybe the advantage of that multiplier that has 3 tools in one might be helpful to you. So I put on my bead here, and you might then want to come in with your chain nose and adjust that little end, tuck it in, and straighten out your loop a little bit. So now I've got my bead on with my little wraps, and then I'm going to pick up my tool again and just going to leave a little bit of space and do my little funky wrapping of the wire wrap. And I manipulate by adding the movement of the bead as well. So if you move your bead, you also have more control over this kind of a technique. So many times I see people only relying on the movement of the wire, but if you are moving your bead as well, you have a little bit more control. So I've got a terrible wrap here to start with, but we're going to get better as we go. And one thing I like to make sure I do with beaded chain is also adjust the loops to be going in the same direction. So I've got a link at this point, and this is my first one, so I am wrapping both ends. And look at that beautiful glass bead. This is going to look great as beaded chain. So get my little excess beads out of the way. Now, I'm pulling off another section of wire, and I'm cutting off that piece, and I'm going to wire wrap our smaller beads now. And it's the same process, just going to do my bend over the front of the plier, bend over the back of the plier, adjust and wrap that small piece around, pull my wire down, and then I'm going to do a couple of wraps. And you can do messy wraps, you can do really nice wraps, totally up to you. That's what you're looking like. Then I've got to drop my plier because I got to do a little cutting. And then I'm going to put on my little crystal. And these are such lovely little crystals. Look at the beautiful sparkle on that. So I've got a little end that I need to adjust, so I can come in and do a little adjusting there. And then what I want to do next is wrap to this bead. Hi, Linda Emery. So I'm going to start and just do a little start of my wrap. And I'm adjusting my bead so that my loop is in the right place. And now I'm going to take that and I'm going to drop it right into the loop of my other bead. So it's right interlocking. Now, here's another benefit of this tool. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. You can pop over and hold on to that link with your chain nose. And you can take your wire and wrap it around a couple of times, drop your pliers down and snip off. And now you can come in again with your chain nose and straighten out those loops, tuck in your the end of your wire, and now look, we've got two links to our beaded chain. And look at the color with the pink is kind of a matte, but the yellow is a nice, bright, sparkly yellow. So pretty. Now, this is not unlike other wrapping that you might do. So if you're thinking beaded chain is hard, it's not, because it's just wire wrapping. Just doing the same thing you would do for wire wrapping beads to put, to make a dangle, or to do some other kind of technique, add a bead to an earring. It's not hard. It's just simple wire wrapping technique. And you can do hours and hours of beaded chain if you can do this. And I love just sitting in my studio, listening to some music and just kind of jamming out and making some beautiful beaded chain. And I always have an easier time tucking in my little end of my wire once a bead is on. I don't know if anybody else experiences that, but that's how I like to do it. So I've got that bead together. Now I'm going to come in with my round nose again, and I'm going to create that loop, and I'm going to actually use my fingers to move the bead and hold on to the plier tight, open up that loop, and I'm going to come down to the other side of my bicone. I'm going to drop that into the loop, pull that around, come in with my chain nose, and then wrap that bead a couple times. maybe 3 times. And then come in close with those cutters and get that nice and tight there. And then you'll want to come in with that chain nose part of your pliers and clean up your end and get your loops nice and straightened out so that we can continue on. So what do you guys think? Do you like these beads as beaded chain? I think it's very cool as beaded chain. You can tell me if you don't like it. They might be too big for you. But also tell me if you think this tool adds some efficiency. So I'm still dropping my tool to grab this, but I've eliminated one tool from the picture. So I'm not picking up a round nose, picking up a flat nose or a chain nose. I'm only working with 2 tools. So let me show you another tool option here. All right. So I picked this up as well. I have not used this. I'm taking the tip off of this for the very first time. This is a Euro tool and it's called, let me find the packaging here, an AccuLoop. And this tool will help you with your loops if you want them all to be the same, which in our case, we got pretty, I got pretty good at that because I'm watching very closely where I put my wire. But if you need a little bit of help with that, these pliers are marked. So they are marked to show you where to put your wire, and you will always put it there every single time. This is a large pair of pliers. The barrel here can get very large, so you can make very large loops, but you've also got a very small tip here. So I've not tried this. I think I'm going to try it in front of you. Hopefully I won't embarrass myself too much. I always tend to make mistakes or do silly things when I'm on with you guys, but I hope that will show you that we're all just human making jewelry, and we all make mistakes as we go. So I've got my piece of wire, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. So that seems to be about the size of the barrel I'm going to want. And because I've got the larger size barrel on the other side, I'm not going to do my same wraparound. So what I want to do before I adjust is kind of pull my wire around. So I just kind of pulled this shorter wire around, and then I pulled this one straight. And then, this is a little harder for me. So you want to adjust your pliers so that you can get your wire around. Sorry if that wasn't in shot there, but you could still get a good loop and get your wraps around. And this might be an easier tool for you to use for your wraps. And then I'm going to cut off my excess, but now I need a chain nose because I want to adjust my, the end of my wire. And now I'm going to wrap the bead on. So let's see how that works. And this is a little bit of a larger hole because I didn't put it in exactly the same place as the other plier, but I probably could come in at about the halfway point there and then pull that around. And I don't know how that's going to work. This is a little bit foreign to me, but let's try that. And I'm going to open that up and I'm going to put that onto my chain, the little piece of chain we've already started. And then this is what my go-to is typically when I'm doing beaded chain, as I come in with my Xuron precision chain nose, because I can get into those small places and I can still see what I'm doing. But not everybody likes that, that precision tool. They like a more traditional chain nose. So now I can come in and grab that loop, kind of straighten that out. Straighten this one out as well. And get them going in the same direction. And we've got the start of a chain. Now, I want to show you one more idea. So we've got the AccuLoop here, which is Euro tool. We've got chain nose and a cutter. So that's the combo that you'll need. But if you don't want the AccuLoop, because this is a little bit on the bigger side, maybe it's a little awkward because these are two different sizes, although I'm sure you guys can master this. Maybe this is a bit too much. So you can just go with a traditional round nose. So these are also Euro tool, and these are called precision hand tools. And this is just a lovely, nice quality Euro tool. The Euro tools tend to be a little bit more affordable. And I'll tell you what, I've tested the Euro tools quite extensively and I really like them. They are a great quality for the price. So if you're not ready to upgrade to a fancy tool just yet, this is great. And this works just great for our beaded chain. Now, one little tip I can give you is if you have a Sharpie, you can always mark your round nose. So if you want to always put your wire right here, you can take a Sharpie and mark it off. Now, you might have to continue to mark it over time as that ink will wear off, but that can help be a guide, especially if you're making beaded chain. So you can just get that consistent loop every single time. Now, I'm just making this for myself, so I'm not super concerned about this beaded chain all being the same exact size loops. Obviously, we've got a pretty big one here. But that was me testing out the AccuLoop. I have not used it before, so let's use these. And again, I'm having to use 3 tools, but it's still cool. I'm good with inefficient jewelry making. I find that I'm actually a pretty inefficient jewelry maker, but I just like the activity and the repetitiveness of this kind of project. So, and Cindy says she loves her Xuron. Yep, it is one of my most coveted favorite tool. It's one of the most coveted and one of my most favorite tools. So I'm adjusting that little end of the wire, and let me come in with another one of my lotus beads. So pretty. And I'll want to adjust that loop a little bit more. There we go. And tighten that up a little bit there. So I've got that loop ready to go. And then I'm going to try to replicate where I was before to get that same consistent loop on the other side. And you always want to leave a little bit of space before the bead. So a little bit of space in here so that you can get those wraps around. And now I'm going to come in and drop this right into that space and adjust my loop a little bit and do a couple wraps around and trim off my excess here. Get that in there. My slippery, shaky hands. So I've got a pretty big end there. So I just want to tuck that in. And that's another thing I love about the Xuron pliers is you can really get in here and adjust your wraps nicely. So there we've got another loop or another link to our chain. And I love the look of this beautiful lotus bead with these crystals from the mystery bead mix of Czech crystal. Look at that lovely combination. Okay, let's make one more wrap and let's get another one of our little crystals on. So I just sit and I cut. You could pre-cut all of your wire too. That's another thing you could do to help with one step in your beaded chain making. You could do, you could cut all of your pieces, pre-cut. I eyeball the size of my cuts, which probably isn't the best method for being cost conscious, but you can pre-cut all of your wire pieces and be ready to go. So there we've got our first wrap, and then you can come in with that chain nose and get your loop ready. Now, I don't know how many times, I don't know if you guys have made beaded chain before and you forget to attach your bead to your chain. I do that on occasion. I forget, and then it just becomes a link that you have to attach at both ends at some point in the chain. So depending on how long your chain is going to be, you can still make up for it later and get it attached later. If you did it on the last link, you might have to cut and start over. But you can fix it. You can always fix everything, in my opinion, including this little end that I just wrapped horribly on here. So we're just gonna mess with that a little bit and manipulate that around. So we've got our next link. So this is making beaded chain. Now, I thought it might be kind of fun before we wrap things up today. Let's do one more chain with different beads. So these are absolutely beautiful, and they're absolutely beautiful with these. If you get this sparkle home, you've got so many possibilities of color. I thought it might be kind of fun to wrap these. So just to see a different shape and see how these look, maybe with some of our beautiful Czech crystal. So what if we took our blue out of here? So we've got some beautiful blue beads, beautiful blue crystals. And there's a couple different colors of blue in these mixes. So you'll want to make sure you pick out the right blue for you. Blue for you. I made a little rhyme there. And they have a fun like little sheen AB finish on some of them. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. So I like the idea of this combination. Just a nice blue. If you're a denim girl, this is great. So I'm going to use the artistic wire here because these almost have that gold finish, and the gold kind of goes through the glass. So they have a little bit of a gold glow to them. So I'm going to use some gold color 24 gauge wire, artistic wire. 24 is getting a little bit smaller in gauge. So you'll want to be a little more aware of how you're working with 24 gauge because it will, it's a little, thinner, but it works with a smaller bead very nicely. So I'm going to cut a piece of that wire. And I think I'm going to go back to the multipliers. I think I'm going to grab those. I kind of dig them. I'm kind of digging these. So I'm going to start again with a loop up top. So I'm going to bend that over one side of my pliers, pull that back around to the other side, adjust, pull my wire around a couple of times like that. Maybe one more time, because with a thinner gauge wire, it's hard to even see the wraps sometimes. Now you've got your loop. I'm going to trim off my excess, and then I'm going to wrap one of these bigger beads. Ooh, that's pretty. I do like the gold with this. And then I'm going to pick up my round nose side again, and this one, because it's our first one, gets wrapped on at both ends. It's just going to do a few wraps around like that. And then I'm going to come in and trim that excess wire off. And then picking up my only other tool, I'm going to come in and adjust that edging of the wire, the little extra, the end, and then get this loop going in the same direction and tucking in that piece. So we've got our little link like that. Pretty fun. And then let's do a little bicone. These bicones in this deal of the day are 5mm. And so they're a nice size, not too big, not too small. So they can go with a lot of different designs, a lot of different jewelry types, a lot of different projects. Okay, that wrapping is not the best, so I'm going to adjust a little bit with my finger. And because it's 24 gauge wire, it's so easy to work with. But it is very, very thin, so just have to be careful that you you don't over handle it so that it gets broken. So this is great quality wire, so you don't have to worry about the quality. So I've got my other loop. I'm opening up that loop and popping it onto the end of my link that I already created. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to hold with my chain nose that's already on my tool and wrap around and create that second link. Ruby says, placed her first order, just had to have the deal of the day. Yay! Oh, Ruby, you are going to love these beads. They are so lovely. They are so beautiful. And they give you so many possibilities, and you get a lot of them too. So I always like to have a bunch of crystals around the house. So having that nice mix is great. So I'm going to adjust my loops, and I'm holding on to my bead to adjust them. And now I've got 2 links for my beaded chain. And let's pull off one more section so you can see how these all come together. Pull off another section of wire and come in with the round nose side of the multipliers. Wrap that around the back. I've got my loop, and I press that wire around and give myself a couple of wraps, maybe 3 wraps. And you can use a thicker wire or a different color wire to add a different look to a design like this. So beaded chain, you can use different wires. You can use different gauges. You can do messy wrap versus nice clean wraps. There's so many ways that you can make your beaded chain a different look. So now I'm going to drop this into my link, and I'm going to grab my loop that I created, and I'm going to secure this with a few wraps like that. One more suggestion for you guys is if you are not a wire wrap loop person, so that's not something you want to do or you're interested in, you don't like the look of perhaps, you can do simple loops for beaded chain. I would caution only that if you're going to do that, make sure that your gauge of wire is strong enough that those loops aren't going to pull out when you're using larger beads. So, these Czech glass beads are a little on the chunky side. So when you're using chunky beads, you'll probably want to make sure you go with at least a 22 gauge if you're going to do simple loops. But in this case, I've got a 24 gauge artistic wire to do my wire wrapped loops for this chain. So this is just a variation with some gold. And one more idea for you, setting these aside, is you can do this same technique. Now, this is going to look familiar to you. I've got a really pretty little head pin. This is a sterling silver 2-inch 3-ball end head pin. It's 24 gauge. Look at the little end there, is so cute and lovely. And this is what we would use to make an earring, right? So let me grab one of the, let's use this. Let's grab one of these purple beads. So I'm going to do that. We're going to make an earring, and I'm just going to show you that if you're making earrings, you're already making beaded chain. So I'm going to wire wrap loop this bead, and it's going to be the drop of my earring. And I'm using a head pin because I want the bead to have something to sit on. At the end, it's going to be the little dangle of my earring, okay? And snip off my excess there. I'm going to come in with those chain nose, which is already on my tool, and straighten out my loop and straighten that out with the bottom. So look, we've got this fun little silver accent at the bottom. Then we're just going to do a wire wrap of one bead. So there are these beautiful in the 5mm sparkle mystery bead mix, the little lavender shaded beads. Now your beads are going to vary in terms of what you get in your mix, but you'll get likely all the colors. And I've got a 24 gauge or a 26 gauge designer wire now. This is tarnish resistant silver. And I'm opening up this package so it's unspinning on me. So it's all going to unwind on me. But I'm just cutting a small piece. So beaded chain is also just creating a link that you would use for any kind of design. So if you're making earrings like this, you're probably able to do beaded chain with no issue or problem. So I'm going to snip off my excess there. I'm going to wire wrap. 26 gauge is also a much thinner gauge wire. So just be careful when you're working with it because it can break if you use all of your brute force in creating it. Now I need to attach this to my Dragonfly bead. So I'm going to do that. And I want to make sure that I have my Dragonfly in the right orientation. So if you want your Dragonfly going in a specific direction, make sure you do that when you put it on your head pin. I'm going to hold on with my chain nose and do a couple of wraps around my link. And I'm going to turn my other loop in the same direction. And then I'm going to trim off my excess. I'm going to come down here, trim off my excess, and then I may need to adjust that tiny little end of the wire. And guess what? This is an earring, okay? But this is also the end of beaded chain. If, if you wanted to add this as a little dangle at the end, maybe you're doing a lariat. So let's grab a fun ear wire. This is one of my favorite ear wires. You'll love these if you've worked with them, or if you're getting these home, you'll love these. And all we need to do is drop that on. So beaded chain is also the same technique you would use to create an earring. And look at this lovely little earring with a beautiful Czech glass bead, some beautiful sparkle, and a lovely little detailed head pin. pretty little ear wire. This is a craft fair earring. You could make a ton of these. Grab your multipliers, then you only need 2 tools to do the job. Such a fun little earring to make, and such a fun thing to make beaded chain. So who's going to make beaded chain? Who's going to start making beaded chain now? I hope that you guys will give this a try. So fun, so crazy fun. So I'm going to flip around for you. Hi guys. So I should have made this into a necklace, but look at how this beaded chain looks. So if you've got a dark colored shirt, you can just let all of those colors just show up onto that background. A white shirt. This is so much fun to make. I hope if you've never made beaded chain that you will make some after today. Get yourself some tools, whether you like the multiplier or the Accu loop, or you like just a regular round nose. Make sure you've got some chain nose. Get some great tools. Get some great wire. The Beadalon or the Beadalon artistic wire or the Art Beads designer wire are both great options. And last but not least, there are Czech glass beads and lots of these sparkle mystery bead mixes for you to work with. And the sale, don't miss that. Okay, if you hung with me, Linda Emery, thank you. If you hung with me, first of all, let's make sure you guys close out your carts. You don't miss those limited things that were in the show. Some of the wire tools, the mystery bead mixes, oh my gosh, they are some in limited supply. So make sure you check out and complete that order. But if you've hung with me, and if you've got questions, drop them into the comments. But I have a really amazing, fun announcement for you. I got special permission to tell you this, and I am over the moon to tell you this. So I can only tell you part of it though. So this is all I can tell you. Okay. Your favorite products at great prices with familiar faces are coming to television. TV. So if you're still with me, I'll say it again. Your favorite products at great prices with familiar faces are coming to TV. We are over the moon. This is so, so exciting, but that's all I can tell you today. So if you're going to watch the rest of the lives this week, you might become in the know, learn a little bit more each day. We are over the moon excited to share this. So it's coming very, very soon. Please watch the lives and please watch the Art Beads newsletter to make sure that you are in the know about this exciting thing. We are truly excited about this. And we hope you guys will be too. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Robin. So we are just so excited. Yeah, Sarah said you should watch all the shows. All the shows this week will give you some tidbits. Laura Q says, no fair, giving it out like breadcrumbs. We're excited. We want you to the build up to be big because this is really, really big. So I hope that you guys will watch the rest of the week, learn what's coming, and the other ladies will enjoy working with you and designing with you this week too. So there's lots of fun things coming. And last but not least, if you are making beaded chain, please share and at the on the Serious Art Beaters Facebook group. If you're not a member of that, we'd love for you to join us there. And whew, that's a pretty fun, exciting announcement. So I hope you guys didn't miss it. And close out those cards before you go. I will see you next Monday for another episode of Designing with Deb. And I hope you guys will all get to make something this week. All right.